This is the burning issue on the happy world of 5FM radio, bringing you hot, smoldering topics on a weekly basis. Your participation is important.
Good morning and welcome to yet another edition of the burning issue here on the happy world of 5FM radio on 89.9 in Lusaka and the surrounding areas. We are also live partner radio stations, and we're grateful that you found time to tune in and carry this program live. We are live on Tuta FM in Luapula province, and of course, to be precise, they are in Mansa on 90.7 FM. Also live on Muchinga Radio in Chinsali, covering the rest of Muchinga province on 88.1. And we are live on the Copper Belt, and covering the entire Copper Belt is iWave FM radio, and of course on 90.1 FM in Chingola. We are also live on Spice FM in Kabwe, and covering the rest of Central Province on 91.1. And crossing to the southern side of the country, we are live on Wave FM radio on 98.7, and that is in Mazabuka, covering the rest of Southern Province. We are also live on our Facebook page, and that's 5FM Zambia. Also on our YouTube account, you can follow our conversation on 5FM Zambia. Later on in the course of the program, I'll give you, our listeners, an opportunity to call in and interact with our guest today. And I'm your host, Zachariah Banda. Good to be back. And of course, I would like to thank colleagues who sat in for me on both editions, Thursday last week and Tuesday this week. And that's Herbert Mutawe and Lance Banda, respectively. So thank you very much, gentlemen. And so we're back. And so, yeah, let's have a conversation. But before that, let me introduce my guest this morning. My guest is Mr. Charles Chanda, who is the United, Prosperous, and Peaceful Zambia President. Sir, it's always a pleasure to have you, and welcome to this particular program.
Thank you, Mr. Banda, and thanks to all the beautiful listeners of 5FM radio from all the places that you are listening.
Yeah, and good to see you. I mean,
well, the pleasure is mine. It's always
you're looking the same, and, doing good.
I look good, but you know one thing.
Yeah,
I think out of the 19 million Zambians,
yeah,
at the moment,
yeah,
I'm the only citizen in Zambia without any legal issues, without any criminal issues, that the president of the country has instructed the banks in Zambia that you must not have an account for Mr. Chanda. So I'm a citizen whose rights have been infringed, and yet I don't have any case. And here is Mr. Chanda, and the whole president, in the name of President Hakainde Hichilema, instructing all the banks. And so when you see me, you see a Charles Chanda whose rights are infringed upon. I don't have any problem. I'm not in court. Have never been found guilty, but the president has the power.
How do you know it's the president?
The banks,
because that's an allegation.
It's not an allegation. Go to Absa Bank. Go to FNB. They've closed all my accounts. I'm the only Zambian with millions of dollars, but without a bank account. And I'm a citizen.
So they closed the accounts that you are talking about.
Yes, and when
have money in them.
Well, no? let's not talk about that.
Because
I might even be the reason why Invest Trust is closed, because I was expecting an $11 million into that account. So when you see things happening, so I'm one of the citizens whose rights have been infringed, and I believe the president is listening. Mr. President, you cannot infringe on my rights. I have a right to live as a citizen. If you have a case against me, I challenge you, Mr. President. Take me to court. You can't instruct the banks that I must not have a bank account. So
why can't you go to court for that?
I'm not going to waste my time.
No, but you should be the one to go to court if you feel infringed upon.
Not in this government. Not in this government that is so arrogant. You can never win. Leave them. But their time will come. because one day I'll be president, and I can assure you it will be fight back time. And whoever is closing my accounts, whoever is infringing in my rights, the time is coming.
That's
They'll
not
feel the
that's
heat.
not a good
It
that's not a
doesn't
good
matter.
hallmark of a leader.
It doesn't
if
matter.
you're going into government is to make others pay back.
When you have people like you have now, why should you leave them? How do you infringe on somebody's rights? If you feel that there is something wrong, there's wrongdoing in this man, take him to court. You appointed the judges. You are the one who appointed the IG, appointed everybody. Why are you afraid of taking the man to court? Why should you instruct the bank? That is when you have leaders who are cowards. They think they can use systems to fight, but a time is coming.
We will get back to that.
Thank you.
We will get back to that. First of all, on my program, I thought I should inquire about how your party is doing in as far as mobilization is concerned, UPPZ. I will get to one achievement that we will also talk about a little later. But for now, just give us a bit about how your party is doing. 2026 is not long from now. It's very soon, and you must be, if you are participating in the elections in 2026, by now your mobilization gear should be in gear 5, no?
Well, it is already. This is why we have a success,
right?
A success story. We are doing very well. That is why now they are on me to make sure that, hey, this man is moving this direction. How do we break his backbone? So we are doing fine. And it's not
interesting. So let's now get to the Kanchiria local government by-elections that took place not long ago, in which you as a party, UPPZ, participated and won an election in that Kanchiria constituency. Quite a big achievement, and congratulations for that. But tell us what happened.
Well, thanks for the congratulations. Well, you know, I looked at Kanchiria, and I'm from that province.
Okay.
And what I was seeing on social media was threatening. I felt that this is the best district where CDF is working. But when I went there, the story was different. I saw that the CDF on social media is not the CDF in the community. And so we went there. But one good thing about UPPZ, we have a manifesto dealing with rural developmental agenda. And that is exactly what has given us a route in rural Zambia. Now, when we went there, I was very plain to them. When I said one Zambia, they said one nation. I said, don't cheat yourself. You can't say one Zambia, one nation when you have schools that don't have electricity and computer is compulsory. And then you are saying one Zambia, one nation. This is a fallacy. It is not there. It is one Zambia, one side. You people in rural Zambia, but abantu and yet you've got the same voters card. You've got the same NRC. We respect the people in urban Zambia, but we neglect, we despise the people in rural Zambia. They drink water with germs. It's only God keeping them. And I said, look at Zambia. 74% of Zambia is rural. But let's look at how politicians are taken care of. Those that we vote, councillors and MPs, including the president, they benefit more than our chiefs and our headmen. I told them that, how do you give a gratuity to an MP and you leave out the chief in that locality? And the message, when the people saw the content of the message, they saw that what this man is saying, there's truth. Because one, the people who vote, the people who are feeding Zambia, it's rural Zambia. Abantu abamumishi ebalishe echalo. But how can it be that the people feeding you, you don't give them the services? Do you also remember, do you realize that electricity is from rural Zambia? Kariba is not town. Look at all the places where our electricity is generated. It comes from rural Zambia, and you only see wires. People don't even know what is electricity, and yet electricity is produced in rural Zambia. So this is why I told them that, look, at the moment, rural Zambia has got no president. And this is what I'm telling you. There is no president in rural Zambia. This is why we care how people are. And rural Zambia is looking for a president, somebody who can care for them like we care for the people in urban Zambia. Look at the children from rural Zambia. When you look at grade 12, look at the distances to their secondary schools, and you find that when they write their grade 12s, they write the same exam, and they can walk 12 kilometers, 15 kilometers, no transport. There's no electricity to do assignments. And when you write your grade 12, you want to apply to University of Zambia, they will tell you, ECOC need 9 points. You even make a child who walks 20 kilometers, who has got no electricity to do homework. Limbiami singa kona 1 point. You say, no, therefore if you have 9 points, you are favoring people living in urban Zambia. But I'm saying, a time is coming, and the time has come. We need to look at the rural child. If a rural child gets 13 points and the cutoff point is 10 points, you must admit that child. That child has tried. But there is no president, including all these ministers of education. They don't care about Mishi. They leave them like that. And this is why when I gave them the message, I said, no, don't worry. A time has come. We cannot be paying a salary to a councillor in a village. You leave out the headman. Who does the work in the village? It's not the councillor. The one who does the work is the headman. But why can't we give them, even if it's a 200 per month, to appreciate their role? But we don't care. And look at it. Look at your NRC, Mr. Zachariah. Your NRC, there's no president there. On the NRC, there's no member of parliament. There's no minister of home affairs. There's chief there. You cannot neglect my chiefs. Here is a chief. How do you give a 4x4 to an MP who lives in town but has got a constituency in the village, and you leave out the chief who lives in the village and is driving a Corolla? And I'm saying, no, that impartiality. This is why UPPZ is needed in Zambia. I mean, this is why, sorry to bring this in, but it's the same message. There's been a fight, there's been a call about Barroseland and all those things. But, I'm bringing in this to tell you that the people of Barroseland, they are not fighting to be on their own. It is because we neglect the traditional leaders. We neglect the traditional rural Zambia. And this is their cry. They think that, no, maybe because, we are not taken care of. Nobody cares. They think if we go this route, but I'm telling you, if you have a president in this country who begins to take care of all the chiefs, regardless of their status, begins to take of their welfare, takes care of the headmen, and takes development in rural Zambia, nobody can think of splitting Zambia.
And this government is doing just that.
Where?
I mean, isn't CDF meant to do that?
CDF?
Isn't CDF meant to do
is
that?
a scam. CDF is a scam. It is a serious scam. And I can tell you, Mr. Zachariah, people, this is a public radio, and people are listening to us.
It is.
They give you in parliament. They go and cheat us in parliament that CDF is 28 million. And I want to challenge, if there is any MP in Zambia who has received 28 million, they must call us here. That is a scam. This is a way that this government is siphoning funds in the name of CDF. There is no constituency in the whole country that has received 28 million. That money is on paper. But why should we be having money on paper and on the ground it's not there? The people who are benefiting in CDF are the same people in the government who are doing this contract and leaving out the people. So for me, CDF should have been a game changer, but it is the greatest scam Zambia has ever had. And don't worry, a time is coming. We will follow up this money. CDF, get ready. We'll come after you.
Tell me, because you are saying CDF would have been a game changer. So in short, you believe it's a good idea.
It is.
How would you then implement it?
It is a beautiful idea. And I want I want to congratulate Bali and his government
Right.
for this idea, but which has been abused. If Bali and his people, his government, sat down and said, guys, we are giving this 28 million, although the problem was one. The problem was that they wanted to blindfold Zambians. And what they did, they went to the Ministry of Education, they reduced their budget because desks are supposed to be provided by the Ministry of Education. So they reduced their budget, then they said it's going to CDF. Why did they do that? They knew that the previous government, people were stealing money from, so it had some kind of, goodwill. They didn't want ministers and the officials to be stealing, but they forgot that as they are doing that, they are also creating new thieves, because I can assure you, we have new thieves now. How do you say it's CDF? You go to Kanchibia, you pick 20 youths that they must be taught driving, 20 of them from Kanchibia. You bring them to Kawata in Lusaka to do driving. I mean, honestly speaking, even if the people who are, doing this thing of administration, even if they knocked off at break time, when I say break time, it means that their education is not complete. Even if their education is not complete, they should be able to say, how do you get somebody from Kanchiwia? He passes Mpika. Mpika has got a DC. You are telling me that you cannot do the driving in Mpika. Why don't you empower the driving schools in Mpika, or even in the same Kanchiwia, to have a driving school and teach these people? You bring them to Lusaka. Now, one, they will need accommodation. Who pays for that accommodation? How sure are we that when somebody writes on the CDF that no accommodation is this? This is how this government is stealing money. So the beneficiaries of CDF, it's not the citizens, it is the very people who initiated it. So they wanted to have a clever way of stealing money, and they are successful, because right now, go in Kawata Site and Service, you find students in a house. Where are they from? They are from Chadiza, guys. How it's very painful. Nobody is following up this. So they reduced the budgets. Look at local government. There is nowhere in the world local government should buy cars. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Local government ministry. How can local government be buying cars when it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Transport? So you can see that here there is some kind of cleverness, but cleverness, it will catch up with them. You cannot do that. I mean, look, this is why I'm at these desks, because there is no control. In the Ministry of Education, there was a department that was concerned with quality. But now you remove that power from the Ministry of Education, you take it down, and a desk is made today. The following day, the desk is broken. And now, who is going to repair? Where are you going to get the money from? This is why I'm telling you that CDF is a scam.
Let's zero into Kanchibia, because this is the constituency that had those local government by-elections, which you won as UPPZ. And then you are telling us that what we see on social media about Kanchibia's development in as far as implementation of CDF is not what is on the ground. I mean, we have seen quite a lot. It's shocking that you would say that, because we have seen quite a lot. We've seen roads on social media. We've seen schools, classrooms, blocks built. We've seen Kanchibia for the first time having a mortuary as a result of CDF. All these things are development. And when you bring up that issue that you are shooting down development in Kanchibia, it's quite shocking. Tell us, is there something we need to know?
Well, I'm not shooting down Honorable Sunday Chanda. He's one of the most hardworking MPs. But he hasn't got 28 million. Give Sunday Chanda, Honorable Sunday Chanda, 28 million, and you will see development there. And the cry I am having is the cry of my namesake. Give him 28 million. He will do better than most of these constituencies. So, yes, a road could have been done, but it's not all the places that are with roads. The ward where I won, Mansha ward, that Manshawat, we have a situation. I'm building a school now in Manshawat. How can I
Is that the reason why you won an election?
No. I'm telling you.
Or you're building post-election, or you started building before?
We are starting now. We haven't built. We are starting now.
Right.
The reason being that we had an area where children can't go to school. We have a place where the secondary school is very far. And you know what happens? And the parents complain that our girls can't finish school because the distance is too long. And by the time they are walking, they will meet 5 to 6 boys proposing them. And finally, they become weak. And most of them are pregnant. And so what we are saying is that we have a challenge of schools. We have a challenge of other infrastructure, even roads and a number of things. But yes, the Honorable is doing well. But the fact that we won in a place where CDF has been made to be the best should show you that it is not everyone who is a beneficiary. And that is my concern.
Mm. Of course, my guest this morning on the burning issue is Mr. Charles Chanda, United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia President. That is UPPZ party. And of course, we're going to discuss quite a number of our issues. You, Mr. President, you are a businessman and you've been doing business for a long time, and you've diversified your businesses quite a lot. And now you are known for mining business because you have become a miner. And I'm interested because this sector is a crucial sector. And let's talk about it. I mean, you want to give kudos to this government, the fact that they had a successful out-of-court negotiation and reinstated Vedanta to continue managing KCM. It is this government that has found an equity partner for Mopani, and of course, there are prospects in as far as the mining sector is concerned. There are investors knocking and obviously looking at Zambia as best investment country in as far as the sector is concerned. This must be good for you. No, is this something that you would like to give kudos to this government, that well done, because we've got Mopani up and running, KCM has been concluded?
Mr. Banda, I'll be very honest with you.
Mm.
For me, there is no government I will give credit when it comes to mining where your concentration is the foreigners. You are empowering the outsiders. We still have a problem with our mining policy. And as long as our mining policy is the way it is, the issue of praising the government, it's not there. When you look at the issue of KCM, now, there are a number of issues there. KCM had a problem. What I was expecting to happen was for this government to sit down. Why did KCM get to this point? What really happened? This is why it is very important that the incumbent and the predecessor, they must be in good terms. If I become president, my best friend should be Hakainde Hichilema if I take over after his tenure.
Right.
The moment he becomes my enemy, I want to outdo him. I won't be able to ask him, my brother, what happened here, what happened here? So the issue here of KCM, there is a lot I know about KCM. This is why, I can tell you that what is being played now, it's just politics. It's not about economic development. Are you aware that KCM has got no copper? They don't have copper. So, I mean, the person who was using KCM is a Chinese who was getting concentrate from Congo. That's the man that has been making use of the so even if you give it to Vendetta, I mean, look at the financial hurdles around Vendetta. Look at how much has been spent. All I can assure you is that we are seeing here is just Bless me, my friend. Bless me, my brother. That's all I can tell you about this. So as far as I'm concerned, even if you say no, Mopani has opened ABCD, at the end of the day, one day we will know who are the true shareholders of that Mopani. Are we sure?
Are you questioning?
Are we sure that the people that are being portrayed as shareholders are the shareholders? Why should we make the asset of the government to go? A decision is made and you sideline parliament. Is there something that we are hiding? This is why I'm saying all these are fishy transactions. And I cannot say that, well done, UPN. All I'm saying is that a mess has been created. In a normal country, you cannot get an asset sold without approval by parliament. So when you avoid parliament, you can know that here there are some shady deals that are there, but there's nothing hidden in this country. Now, let me tell you the honest truth. This country has got 25% shareholding in Kajam, where emeralds are produced. If you look at the figures surrounding Mopani and KCM and everything, are you aware that it's not up to 10 tons of copper, of emerald, which we can have access in Kajam? This country should have managed and run these mines. Somebody will say, no, we don't have the capacity. No, it's not that we don't have the capacity. It's because we are not interested in making these assets to be part of this country. These are national assets. You can't be giving out all the mines. You can't be doing that. What you remember, as they dig in the other mines, eventually we will remain with trenches and all the wealth will go out. Zambia is benefiting literally nothing out of these deals. Only individuals are the beneficiaries. So as far as I'm concerned, the issue of KCM, the issue of Mopani, I don't have anything to praise and I've got nobody to praise because there's nothing to be praised about. Even this thing, oh, there are these jobs, just give them 1 year. You will see what's going to happen. Go to Luansha. No, we are opening shaft 28 and ABCD. Are you aware that that mine is the deepest mine in Africa? Are you aware that for us to remove that water and bring that mine to a safety standard, we need engineers that are involved in such, but not what we are seeing now. So all I'm telling you is that it is politics. And politics are there to please people and to deviate people's attentions. And that is what is happening in our country.
Let's talk debt restructuring, because obviously I've not had an opportunity to ask you about your thoughts on this. When it came that, we have successfully struck a debt restructuring deal with our creditors, I mean, obviously, according to the president, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, this is a python snake that leaves us alone, and they give us breathing space, and our necks are free, and we can now focus on development. I mean, this must have been this was good news to the government, to the people of Zambia, and it must have been good news.
Excluding me, don't include me in that.
Why do you say so?
And don't include the youth. So you can include other people, but don't include the youth and don't include me. It wasn't good news. Now listen, the issue of debt restructuring. Yes, the country is owing so much, which is true. And most of these debts it was PF that put us in this mess. But do you realize that the reason why the UPND government went for debt restructuring, it was not to improve the economy, but to get more credit, get more debt. That's because they couldn't get any more. The moment we say debt is restructured, then they begin to add on the debt that we have not paid. Then in the future, we now say, no, this is going to be paid in the future. That cleverness was the cleverness of PF. When they got the first Eurobond in 2012, $750 million. That money was supposed to be used in the rehabilitation of Zambia Railways. 750 million. And then by then, the president, may his soul rest in peace, and his cabinet, he looked at the period. They were given 10 years to pay that Eurobond. So last year, 2024, it was, 2020, this is 2020.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah, 2022, it was supposed to be paid because it was 10 years.
Yes.
Now, the president by then, he knew I've got 2 terms, 2011, 2021, I'm gone. So he now pushed the payment to the next president. So if God had kept our president, Honorable His Excellency, Mr. Michael Chirufya, may he so rest in peace, if he had kept them alive, he could have been out of office after 2 terms. So the next president was the one to pay the debt that he never even used. Now, in 2024, they got another one. The way it should have worked and the way it is supposed to work. You remember, those 2 Eurobonds are bullet payments. A bullet payment is you pay it cash. So you don't pay bits and pieces. So what they were supposed to have done, when they got that money, they were supposed to do what we call a manager's sinking fund from 2012, so that on a monthly basis, you are putting money towards the payment of the Eurobond, which was going to be 10 years later. That was not done. They ate the money and they were paying part of the interest. But now at the end of the day, we are in this mess. So you can't blame the UPND. They found the debt. But for them now, instead of solving the problem, they now create more problem, because I can assure you, the next president is also now going to have the one that UPND has borrowed and the one that PF borrowed. We are pushing it to our children. Tell me, how can a father fail to solve a problem and now push it to his children who have not even found work? We are pushing it to our children who are graduates. They can't find employment. They don't have businesses. We are the ones who have got businesses. We are pushing the debt payment to children who don't own mines. Those are the ones who must come and pay. That is not a right decision. And I still repeat, and I want to emphasize and tell the country that there was no need to have this kind of situation.
It was inevitable for any political party did won an election. I mean, let's look at UPPZ, for example. 2021, you win an election, you find the debt mountain that the previous government obviously accumulated. I mean, your approach in terms of how you pay back the debt is not different from what this government's approach was or has been. I mean, how would you have done it then?
You know, me, all I can tell you is that this debt can be paid. And I want to challenge His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema.
Again, you want to tell us it can be paid through Emerald?
It can still be paid, whether you refuse or not. Now remember, 2017, Jem Canton produced 70,000 kg of emerald. 2017. If President Lungu knew what happened in his face, if he knew the value of emerald, I can assure you, President Lungu was still going to be the president. But he neglected that information. I even tried to get hold of him. I couldn't see President Lungu, and I wasn't going to beg money from him. I wanted to tell him, Your Excellency, this is what we can do. But you know, these presidents, they become they don't want anyone to see them. They don't want to meet anybody. And they made sure that I don't see him. Now, let me tell you, 70,000 kg, which is 70 tons of emerald, is equivalent to 26 years of Zambia's national budget. 70 tons of emerald, which was from Lufanyama, should have taken us 26 years of nobody paying tax, and the tax paid from those emeralds. Even if people are going to hate me, I'm still telling you that we don't deserve to be owing anybody in this world. We have enough resources. Go to Northwestern Province. Uranium is going out. Gold is going out. Companies are exporting gold as if they are exporting copper. Our mineral wealth is getting out of this country. and we are busy borrowing money. We shouldn't do that. And I'm saying, and I'm going to repeat, Zambia is not supposed to be owing. And if President Hakainde Hichilema is serious about paying debt, I can work with him from now until 2026, and we can pay the money so that our children are not the ones to come and pay this debt. We can clear this debt. It's very possible. This is not all about politics. It's about being patriotic. You cannot hand over and you are celebrating. And sometimes I wonder, how can you celebrate your baby who has not even started school is the one to come and pay the money you are eating? It's not worth it. So for me, debt restructuring, it's zero, and it's not something that anybody who has been to school can be able to say it was a success. It is a tragedy. It is a trap for our children. Now, let me tell you, this debt restructuring, in the future, when we fail to pay our debt, our children may become slaves to those countries, because they'll come after them and say, this is what your uncaring presidents, uncaring governments did. They signed. So all of you are now our slaves. You are going to be cheap labor so that you can pay our debt. We cannot be such unfair to our children. And it's worse, it's the youth. Go on social media. They are the ones who are praising. The youth don't know that it is a rope in their neck. There should be no president in this country who should defer. We must face the problems and solve the problems. Because in campaign, when we were campaigning, we assured the citizens that we are going to solve this problem. So how come when you now get into power, you now begin to dike and dive, you begin to push the problems forward, which means you were deceiving the people that you can solve the problem. You got the president through deception. You had no solution. And we are saying it shouldn't be like that. So all I'm saying here is that there's no reason why we must be owing as a country. And it ends there. If people understand what I'm saying, they can tell you all our minerals. I mean, look at copper. Zambia has got no copper mine as a country. I even have two. So me, I'm better than the whole country. Me, I've got two copper mines. The whole Zambia, you just imagine, the whole Zambia, no copper mine, not even 1 ton. And you call ourselves a country. What a shame. What a shame to our politicians. You are busy giving out. This one, you are gifting. You are Father Christmas. You go to Dubai, you come and tell them, I'm the Father Christmas there, come and get the mine. You go to this place, I'm Father Christmas, come and get this. We are giving out the wealth. What about our children? Somebody has to think about our future generations. We must not be cursed by our future generation that we never cared about their welfare.
Now, let's also discuss the fact that, Zambia has been hit by drought. And this drought situation has also, been declared as a national disaster by the head of state. And he has gone on to ask for humanitarian support from the international community so that, as a result of the drought, this country does not plunge into poverty. Good thought, I think.
Well, it depends. You know me. I'm not
starting
a
early.
I'm not a president.
Starting early is better.
I can't be a president.
And now the Ministry of Agriculture has announced that the government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, will import maize, including yellow maize.
And you think that's Ayoba, or that's a good? Now remember, this is why I said, when you take over power, don't rubbish your friends. Don't rubbish their works. These people, they found maize. Do they think that the PF were dunderheads who never used to think? You need to plan ahead. PF, yes, had their own problem. I mean, I had my own share of suffering under PF. So, I never worked with them, although people were accusing me to be a surrogate. I never worked with PF. I've never, not at one time. I always respect the president that is there, because it's biblical responsibility. Obey those that rule over you. I respect Barry. It's not that I'm not working with UPND. No, I respect him as my president. But the issue here is that when President Hakainde Hichilema took over power, he should have sat down with his people. Here is maize. This maize is supposed to be there in case there's a drought. But our friends who are looking for money, they sold all the maize. Does it make sense that you as a parent, you come into a house, you sell all your chairs, at tukapanga yambi, era maplanga ya short, what are you going to do? So here it's lack of planning. We are being led by leaders who cannot plan. They must all go back to school or enroll in these online schools where they do planning, strategic planning. So we can't say no because of the drought. And let me tell you now the honest truth. You are not going to say there is hunger because there is a drought. It's not a drought. Northern region, there was rainfall, but they didn't have fertilizer because those who were distributing fertilizer, they favored other provinces. They gave the other provinces more fertilizer. And the place where there was no fertilizer, where people were sharing, they had the rains. So you can't go and say, no, Zambia is hit with a drought. That is lying. Not Zambia. Mchinga had rains. So why are you saying Zambia had a drought? This is why a leader must never be partial. When you are partial, God will find you. When you mistreat other people, God will find you. So here, don't rule out the works of God, because we had rains in other places. There is maize there, but they didn't have fertilizer. The places where you gave fertilizer, that's where there's a mess. So all I want to say is that next time, when it comes to FISIP, we want equal distribution so that in case the other area there's no rain, we can get maize there to avoid eating yellow maize. So this problem we created ourselves. Let's not even say it's nature. No, this is a self-created problem. If we had distributed fertilizer equally, the regions that we have been neglecting, we are going to take care of this country. So as far as I'm concerned, we have no choice. You will sell the maize that was there. You are not fair in fertilizer. Just because the Tamaf province, this must stop. Let's treat the country as one. It is one Zambia, one nation. If you are going to give one bag in Southern Province, give one bag in Northern Province, give one bag in Eastern Province, give one bag in Northwestern Province for every farmer. If you are going to say no, you cannot use this thing of no, these ones were being mistreated before. That is not leadership. It is not their fault. You punish those leaders, don't punish the country. But now we are punishing citizens because of people. No, do you know that there are some places the president has never visited? Ask him. Ask the president. Has he been to Mpika? He has never been there. Has he been? He has been to these other places. He even goes to stay there. But these other provinces, he hasn't been there. You know why? Only God knows. But I'm saying when you become president, you are the father of the whole nation. President Hakainde Hichilema is my president, is my father. So how can he, as my father, tell the banks that don't give Charles Chanda a bank account? And he's my father. I don't have any other president. You can't do that. You must be fair. And if you mistreat people, God will find you.
I still have issues with your allegations of
It's not an allegation. What I'm telling you, when we finish now,
right,
call Absa Bank in Kitwe, call FNB in Kitwe. Do you know they called me? I had an account at FNB. They called me, Mr. Chanda. I went there. They just said that we cannot explain. We have received instructions that your bank must be closed. I didn't fight. I went to the next bank. I said, let me open. I went there. The lady, hey, no, hey, this one has to do this. And then she finally told me that, well, they can't open my bank. And yet I'm a free citizen. But why should you fight me? Do you now remember in Egypt, the whole government of Egypt mistreated one person and there was a famine in the whole land? That is how God fights. And watch the space. When you mistreat people who haven't done anything, God finds a way. There was a famine in the whole country because God can't give rain. He saw that Pharaoh and his cabinet were against this young man. They put him into prison. And I'm telling you the honest truth, not about me, but about other people that we are mistreating. We are inviting the judgment of God, and see what is going to happen. We need to be fair. A president must be fair. That's all.
This is the Thursday edition of the Burning Issue, and my guest is Mr. Charles Chanda, United, Prosperous, and Peaceful Zambia President. And we have discussed quite a number of issues. And of course, obviously, having discussed the agriculture sector and the drought itself, let's move to energy sector. But precisely, I want us to look at, again, the drought situation, its effects on power generation. I mean, we are under load shedding right now. I mean, we have a genset. I'm sure everyone can listen to the noise that it's making. We are load shedded. We are under load management. But this is likely to worsen. We are told, load management period may be increased. But also, you don't want to blame this on the government. You don't want to blame this on the utility company. This is nature. The drought has caused our water bodies to obviously go lower in as far as water. We all know that the capacity of ZESCO to generate power without load management is there. But the energy in terms of water is insufficient for ZESCO to generate full capacity.
That's what you think.
And what do you think?
It's lack of proper planning and management of the country.
How?
Go to Dubai. Go to Dubai now and find out if they've got water there. Even the water they drink. But
well, they just had floods, and I'm sure they have a lot of now.
There are no rivers. They don't have rivers that we are depending upon. We knew about the issue of electricity a long time ago. This is why I'm against this thing of every president who comes, he must put up a director at ZESCO so that they can get money out of ZESCO. That's where the problem is. ZESCO is supposed to be managed professionally so that there is consistency in making sure that the country has got energy. We have too much sunshine in this country. We knew about solar energy a long time ago. Have you never heard about the president preaching about it, the green, whatever it is they call it? He even went to Britain to over this green.
Well, they even created a ministry for it.
Now, there's a ministry. So what is it for? So the problem is politicians are the ones causing load shedding. Now, I was just in South Africa a few days ago. There are elections there. Load shedding has finished. You know why? They are getting electricity. You export electricity to another country so that that country will pretend to have finished load shedding, and then after the elections, then they'll be telling us, no, we are actually exporting electricity. So this thing of saying, no, nature, me, I don't buy those ideas. So we need to reach a point where ZESCO must be managed professionally. If the MD of ZESCO has been there for 15 years, he's supposed to plan that we need to have solar plants. How do we have solar plants? So that we can move, we can shift from the hydroelectric power. But there's no such. Everybody who comes, the first thing is, where can our party get money? It's ZESCO. Go and put a director there. And then that's what happens. And I'm saying this must come to an end. So as far as I'm concerned, this thing of load shedding, it is a creation by our political leaders. Starting from PA, from ECO himself, coming to HH, it's their problem, their lack of planning, the two of them. I blame them. The two of them. They must sit down. This thing they are doing to the country is not right. I mean, people are now, it's not even 8 hours. It's 12 hours. Abantu balya finish kanje. But watch the space. If there's no rain next year, I don't know, I'm not a prophet. And the year of the elections, we don't have rains. We are not going to have load shedding. This government will find electricity so that they can win elections.
Well, they will import. There are solutions.
Which solutions?
We have imported power before. So
are
are you saying they would deliberately import power and have electricity?
You know politicians and their gimmicks. This is why sometimes, if you put your trust in politicians, you will sleep outside. I mean, in South Africa now, there's no load shedding.
I shouldn't trust you?
Well, I'm not a politician. I'm a leader. That's the difference. Why am I a leader? I am the only politician, if you want, according to your definition. I am the only person in opposition who has been solving national problems. Only one.
Such as?
Of course, land. I have more land than Lusaka City Council. It has never happened. We are launching now 4,000 plots in Mikango.
It's this land that has dented part of your name. It's
it
not
doesn't
the whole
matter.
name.
The issue of denting.
It is this land that you have been called the biggest scammer.
It doesn't matter. If I was a scammer, how do you think that I can have 50,000 people building and I'm a scammer? It has just shocked everybody. Now, this is what I need to explain to you, Mr. Zachariah. When it comes to land has been the easiest source of income to politicians, to the people at the Ministry of Lands. This is where they make money. But I have successfully managed to bring down the price of land single-handedly. I bought my first land at $1.6 million. I should have sold those plots at 120,000 each if I was a scammer. I sold them for 10,000 and people have already started building. Now, if I'm solving a national problem, there is no way I cannot have problems in my company. If the councils have got problems, tell me, there were councils that were suspended because of land. So if government can have a problem and is suspending councils because of land, don't you think that an individual will still be able to have problems which are still manageable? So this thing of no, is a scammer, it doesn't bother me, because even if you call me a scammer, the issue here is that you need me to get land. And I can assure you, between now and in the future, if you want to build, you can't avoid me. You may call me a scammer today, but tomorrow will be at my office to buy land. So the problems that we have had, these are problems that go with land. Even government has its own problems. Right now, they've got no land. So tell me, if a government has no land and I have land, don't you think that we can have problems of allocations, problems of delays here and there? Those problems are there, but it doesn't change somebody's image. Even if people dent my image, it doesn't matter, but people are buying. So if you have no money, or if there was a problem which we could solve, and then government comes in to complicate it so that it dents, you see, because like what you have said, one of the politicians, he told me that, Mr. Chanda, do you know that the problem that most of these political leaders are having, that you have never been in government. There's no corruption charge on you. The only thing they want to use is to dent your land policy so that they can have something to use. I've never been in government. So there's nothing like corruption. It's not there. So this is why I know my enemies. I know their plans. Even right now, I can tell you that as we are here now, government has planted people. I mean, I know them. I know the people they have planted. But this time I'm going to deal with them. I was a little bit foolish in 2021 when PF planted people, even in my own company. But this time, I'm clever, I'm wiser. And everybody that the government has sent and planted, I'm going to approach them, because this time I'm a little bit wiser. As we grow, we become more wiser. So the issue here is that there is nothing wrong with my land policy. Problems in land are there. Go to Ndola Council, District, Ndola City Council. They offered one plot to 7 people, a lot of people. One plot, this is a council. Double allocations. In Livingstone, there was a problem. They even fired some of the people in Livingstone because of this land mismanagement. Land has challenges. If you give me an opportunity to solve the problems in my company, I'll solve. But when you want to use it against me, against my image, God will find a way to defend me.
How do you explain? Let me bring you back to your party. How do you explain a situation after winning a ward election in Kanchubia, and the next by-elections, you decide not to participate? I mean, that should have been a motivation for you, because you win an election and there's another coming. You should have actually participated because you know that you have started scoring successes. But you win this one, and will I be right to say your party is inconsistent?
No. You know, this is why I told you, Mr. Banda, a leader must be strategic. And you need strategy. After winning the Kanchiwea, I got the information that the government was not happy and they wanted to make sure that they revenge on me. That there's no way that a small party, they call me a small party, but I beat them. So it doesn't matter. I don't know who is bigger and who is small, but as a small party, we beat them. So they planned specifically to deal with UPPZ in the next elections. This is why I had to be strategic. I decided not to participate in all of them. So I frustrated them because they haven't seen me. Now, the reason why I'm doing that, I don't go by the wind. I decide what to do. I know exactly the right thing to do. You can't go into an election to deal with a person. You go into an election to deliver to the people. But if it is to deal with somebody, you are going to do things that are not right. And I didn't want to endanger my members because I knew that they were coming after us because of beating them in Kanchiwea. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to participate. Now, remember also, Mr. Zachariah, it's very rare that a government loses by-elections. Very rare. You check the history. MMD won all the by-elections. They came and lost the election to PF. Normally, government wins by-elections, but where you beat them, then they know that there is something special about this. And all I'm telling you that it's not about inconsistency. It's about strategy, and we know exactly when to strike the iron when it is hot, and we have strategy as UPPZ.
I'll take calls now. Mr. Charles Chanda is my guest, is United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia President. And I will definitely be taking phone calls now on 0955-221515 for your phone calls, and for your messages, please text me on 0761-912493. Once again, for your text messages, it's 0761-912493. Your phone calls are coming directly on 0955-221515. Thursday edition of the Burning Issue. Good morning. Elvis.
Now, yeah, President Chanda.
I'm fine. How are you, boss?
I'm fine. You are speaking very well, Mr. Charles Chanda. The president today has tabulated a lot of issues which are true. This is a true reflection of what is happening on the ground. And every Zambian is disgruntled about this government. This government is going. The slogan still remains, it's #Ibale Kakamu 2026. You cannot subject people to such suffering. The CDF, which is being talked about, you have just hit the nail on the head, President Chanda. This is a hoax. We are not seeing it. I've been talking about this thing for a long time. Here where I am, I went to hear the neighbor telling me that he has benefited from this CDF. What we are hearing is that, look at it, Isaac. In the WDC, there were WDC elections, isn't it, Isaac?
Yes.
But here in Mtendele, no candidate for the opposition was allowed to go near that polling station. People were beaten here. Ask everyone who comes from Mutendere here. Only UPND cadres and the candidates were allowed. How can you sort out the CDF problem if you have cadres in that WDC? How are they going to disburse this money? Come to Mutendere and you ask everyone here that this is what you journalists should be moving. No one should be cheating you that the WDC elections were free and fair. People were beaten here, beaten savagely. I understand they said there was a command that no one coming from the PF should be allowed in that WDC election. So, what are we talking about here? Chanda, continue talking. You are strategic. I was very happy for you to win the Cantillion seat, which also embarrassed the people were supporting the UPND. They were taught a lesson there that people are bad. So what you have to do, Chanda, is make sure that you will be strategic, as you have said. And I also need your number, Chanda. Help me with your number so that we can be interactive. You have spoken very well. I've been a critic of you, but today I've heard what you have said, and I support you 100%, Chanda. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elvis, for that call and contribution to the program. 0955-221515 is the number you can get us on this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you. This is Mr. Chapwe calling.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Chapwe is my name, calling within Lusaka.
Mr. Chapwe.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
So now, I think my question is directed to the moderator there.
Yeah.
You know, you people as the House media, sometimes you also contribute to the problems that we got in the country.
Is it?
I'll cite this one where you ask Mr. Chanda a question to say, what do you think? Are you going to blame the government on these droughts that we have because of drought? We have load shedding and whatnot.
Yes.
Now, I would have loved to hear any of you journalists from these media houses to ask the guests to say, look, in the previous government was blamed by the incumbent government now, the UPND, to say PF had no leadership. They were lacking leadership. That's why we were having load shedding. Are you going to take the same route to blame UPND regarding this? You remind your guests, not whether you just ask a question to say, obviously we are not going to blame the government. We know that there's a drought, that's why we don't have load shedding. So you're already suggesting on behalf of the guests how to answer a question. So please, let UPND be reminded that everything that they were against in PF, and it has come back to them, and they know and are giving excuses when they completely threw out everything that the PF were going to. Even the little achievement that the PF did, UPND never acknowledged that. So what is special about UPND? They've also failed. They have no leadership. So we want people like Mr. Chanda to join hands with these other opposition parties and go forward. We need to kick out this government. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Mr. Chapwe. 0955-221515. Let me take another one. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
How are you today?
Good morning, Chanda.
Good morning, Mr. Mawafiash.
Ndelomba se kuti mpende kwa namba ya ndinde fokula.
Nina wale tumina.
Sa?
Mwale tumafoni.
James Banda.
James Banda. James Banda mle tumina we?
Nde tumina mgadi.
Oh, okay.
0963.
Go ahead. Or just send us a text message on this same number.
Sir?
Ina number mtuminepo, tutumineni message so that tukwate number yen.
On to my message.
Mtume message na mashina yen.
All right, okay. That's
All right.
okay.
Thank you. There you go. And let me take one more. 0955221515 is the number you're calling us on. Good morning.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mama.
Twagomba fe bwino batushibe na mkwai. Mule tumina kuyelo ni bani.
Ndepimena kundora gopa peo
Emkwai.
kwa mkwai niranda na ba Mr. Badge wa ftara kaimena.
Nani?
Ba Mr. Badge wachora.
Bachola kwa chipuluko zuri shanya.
Awe kwa chipuluko kwena kuri bwino ni style charutaktaranga mukinga kwena.
Emkwai.
Ndeko kupushako waona lepo batanda bali ku office uko.
Emkwai.
Ifane oko. Emkwai. Ile kile ndo pushako sana. Mwema opposition takwe wati mulefero okulanda aso mugeza mukutira bekarataro. Every day, every time, nyaka inde nasirwa. Now, you must think from mugeza mukutira. Okay, quite all right, aka inde nasirwa. Tuweze niko imefe mugeza mukutira bekarataro. So that tureremba. Na imonga mwasa ona wakula chonga no kutebekya hapo. Bantu ndiye mwana bwa buteko twatanzishe bwa buteko twafunishe po. What tebere more money in our pocket. Jatwa mwene pendera muko bari twara. Twa mwene pendera bari tamukuru ati zantu shafi ngari ba minister baraba ariko baraba minister ba aba tete ndombe para tibashire baba kopa bill ba rusaka minister nani. Ba boma ne mtamboku na okita Mumbai. Baleza mukendera mamwamona ti. Prenda abantu barechura bari nensara wamona te so nomba mwama opposition kwezeni ifo mugeza mukutya bari inde muremwe bati kwatura iri tari sikirisha ifo bari background nati kwa titi diri yefe kabunga abana aresambirisha free education nakusa ama mine areisura are kwama investor bareza muzambia mukuraisura ama mine slowly but sure so wewe ni ba opposition ko mugeza mukutira bikara chalo legeni kuranda pali yakainde efira muratinga mwaranda pali yakainde naye nami asuka baracha cyo barenda pali ba PF apasi arengo muremulumbula natambe senga muremulumbula yese barumbula tibachanda barerumbula tibachanda kuma biro kwa sikito rendumbi so landeni iko mugeza mukutira bikara chalo otherwise yakainde alebomba 90% PF aikapi kabunga iko defo ago fumuntu ko ale irishanya ko fini kamara abana babalanda bari sambira rero bambi barete bo go batinga twaita mu power ife tukafunya ko free education izira ngo ko batabana bakabwera futu mumishi mukuikara mukula pula amafumo na mukupu ama iri marriage mamon so rekenyu kwangala ba bujoni waftara kaini atiriwe
Natasha Chola Mkwai. Similar message. Chris Banda on Facebook says, "Hi Zach, kindly ask Mr. Chanda how he plans to revamp Zambia's economy. Should he be given the mandate to run this country in 2026? Secondly, some callers like Elvis, who put up baseless claims, should be asked to provide evidence before they mislead the masses. For the record, I didn't see any bloodshed on the WDC elections. I am Tendele resident myself." Chris Banda, thank you very much. We will concentrate on his question about how you intend to revamp the economy should you be given mandate in 2026.
Okay, I think what we do is the last caller.
Right.
I'll start from there.
From Chipulukusu.
Yes. We need to be very honest as citizens.
Right.
The same UPND, when they were in opposition, they gave us 2 million promises, how they were going to fix the economy, how they were going to reduce the fertilizer, how they were going to reduce the price of meal. They even gave us time. The Kwacha was going to appreciate by 14 hours. So if you are part of the UPND, you forget about the promises made by your president when he was in opposition. But you want us to tell you what we are going to do without you acknowledging that there is failure on the part of your people, your leaders, and what they promised. So we need to be fair. So we can't condemn and know your opposition. It is exactly what your president was doing when he was in opposition. He gave us 14 hours. How much is the dollar? How much is electricity? He even said, I'll finish. In fact, there was a statement, I have finished load shedding. So we can't work on that. But what we are saying is, he gave an example that everything is worked out except Milimil. If you are a student, you get 6 distinctions and you fail English. If you don't say now, I'm distinctions. But once I fail English, my friend, there's no university in the world that will accept you. That is exactly the way the UPND has run this government. Everybody eats. What is important, you need to look at the food security. Kalamba. So parents don't have children. Yes, it's good you have free education, although it's not free education. And I want to clarify that, Mr. Banda. We don't have free education. We have free tuition. That's what we have. So don't confuse tuition and education. They are 2 different things. We still buy our textbooks. We still buy everything. All they are doing is they pay the teachers. So Zambia has got free tuition. That's what we have been saved. But now, what are we going to do as UPPZ? In summary, I want to give you our developmental agenda. As UPPZ, we are looking at the country as a whole. We are not looking at rural and urban Zambia. We want a kind of life that is almost the same. And what I mean is that somebody in Chipulukoso and somebody in Kawambo, somebody in Ibex Hill, we must have something in common. That means we must meals per day. We cannot ration no kularia once in a month. Inama malaria once in a month. In fact, even in carpenter now, to eat carpenter, you must be rich. We can't allow that. The cost of living needs to be worked on. How are we going to work on the cost of living? We need to look at our agricultural policy. Our agricultural policy has been centered on, we are depending on the rains. We need to use the water. Zambia has got 40% of the body of waters in Central Africa. We are not making use of that water. We need to look at how do we handle irrigation. We need to look at how do we do it. We need to look at our land. Now, when you are going to do something in agriculture, we cannot be loose with the way we handle land. Now, as things stand now, if you want to be involved in agriculture, you won't find land. We need to look at how do we ensure that we make land for agricultural purposes available. We have 42 million hectares of land. How are we going to make sure that Zambia has got food security? We want to work with various headmen, traditional leaders. And this is why, as UPPZ, we want to be paying the headmen. There is no headman in Zambia who will not get paid when I become president. How are we going to do it? We want to go to all the chiefdoms. Every headman, we want them to get involved. They know the families. They know how much land each family has. We want to provide the farming inputs. We want to provide fertilizer. The headman must tell us, 5 hectares, they need so much fertilizer. We want to distribute farming inputs using our headmen. And then once we do that, we agree with all villagers that, look, ngamwalima amasaka ya amatawa so na so yafiri aisa kuli kubuteko ayambi mwalashtisha. We are working with the headman, and a headman becomes empowered. He begins to work with the government. I can assure you, there will be no land that will not be utilized. So when we do that, we bring down the cost of meal because everybody is getting involved. That's what we want to do. We don't want fertilizer that is imported. We want to do the fertilizer within the country as a government. We have the capacity. We have students. We need to sponsor students. If those students that have done chemical engineering, let's send them out of the country. How can you have a university, your own students, after 60 years, they can't even make Panado? We can't. We must order everything, Panado, whatever it is. The time has come. The confusion and the lack of development in our educational sector. We want to work on it. We want, if somebody says I'm a graduate, we don't want to see a graduate with a graduation gown, because that's what Zambians show. Everybody is a picture with a kasote chapwa, but inside there's nothing. Ni memory. Our educational system is memory centered, and that is not education. It is something we must throw away. Somebody who is a graduate cannot be unemployed for 2 months. How? What did you study? So we want to relook at that, because when we do that, we can open our industries and using our own students. I mean, look, go to Pick and Pay. Go and find cornflakes there from South Africa. How can we be importing cornflakes? So the maize is from here. We've got maize, our own maize. That thing is just popping maize. Pop, 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 pop. We make cornflakes. We cannot have graduates who can make students to convert maize that God gives us into popcorn, into cornflakes. We can't do that. And we call ourselves a country. This is not a country. So we are saying that we need to relook at our educational system. We need to look at our mining sector as well. When you the mining sector, this is why I want to appeal to His Excellency the President. Mr. President, please, I'm begging you, instruct the Ministry of Mines not to get mines from Zambians. The system that they are using now to grab mines from citizens, Mr. President, you were voted by the Zambians. Stop that. Let the Zambians own the mine. That is why when we come as we take over as government, we want to ensure that mining rights should not exceed land rights. The owner of the land should have more right than the owner of the mine. So we cannot get away mining mama mines from people just because somebody went and had his mining rights. We want to change things. So once we change that, then we are handing over the economic power in the hands of the citizens. But apart from that, when you look at the economy is in two parts. We've got shadow economy and actual economy. Now, what is shadow economy? Shadow economy is the undocumented activities in the country that add up to the GDP. They are activities, but there are no records. And the moment your shadow economy is more than the actual economy, you cannot develop. And Zambia is known to have a shadow economy. This is why you can hear that a truck was they impounded a truck in Lusaka, but it passed by the border. That's shadow economy. How can a truck loaded with things pass through the border and there is no documentation? And we are saying that we want to change the economy. We want the economy to be the actual economy, not the shadow economy. This is why when you as a country, you don't allow people to have bank accounts like I don't have, then you increase the shadow economy. People begin to use the mattress bank. That money is not there. If I've got $2 million, the bank should have had my $2 million, and that is going to help in the strength of the kwacha. But if you now block me from having a bank account, I'll keep the $2 million, and I'm going to be doing shadow economy. I can buy whatever I want. I can buy my land. I can pay my workers. But that hits the economy. This is when you have people who don't understand. So when you deal with the actual economy, make sure that the laws are followed within the republic. And once we do that, the economy becomes what it's supposed to happen. Education-wise, we need to make sure that we give equal opportunities. Learners in the rural areas and learners in urban Zambia. Coming to our mining policy again, the issue of, precious stones. I'm saying this so that people must know I have a dream that government must run all the precious mineral mines. That means every emerald mine, including mine, the government must take over. They must be part of the state. That's how we can control the economy. We cannot give anybody. We can't give not even North Africans, West Africans, or Israelites, all the emerald mines. We want to nationalize them. And that's where I'm heading to. Even my own mines, I only have a few years. God give me the presidency in 2026. I can assure the government all the gold mines in Zambia, including those big companies who are exporting gold and mixing it with copper, we are going to close them down. Why? Because that is cheating the country. We want to make sure that the government must run emerald mines and not foreigners so that we can take care of the economy. Nationalization is coming and they can have the copper mines, but gemstone mining, this country, the time has come. We have suffered enough. We need to ensure that we claim what is ours so that the future generations, they don't curse us.
Let's take some more calls. My guest is Mr. Charles Chanda, United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia President, here on the Thursday edition of the Burning Issue. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello, morning, Mr. Zaki.
Morning. How are you today?
Yeah, no, me, I'm okay, my friend. The long time. I'm calling it in Lusaka.
Your name again?
Sweet Boo.
Yes. Long time.
Yeah, it's true, long time, my brother.
What have you been up to?
No, I'm around. I'm busy working, my brother, because this time there's no way starting politics. See, time when I was doing politics is that time when I was fighting in 2021 to put UPND in government. Now UPND now is in government, so I don't have time to call every time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Yeah, thank you.
Wachanda, mwashibuke.
Let's let Sunga Wakalamba.
Long time.
Ni kale kan bonse fe twali palivi bonse fe.
Kwa evo chai kwa kubombesha. Lusaka kuri kula lishima nkono nkula bomba mu Lusaka.
Exactly.
So coming to the topic, Wachanda mulelanda we. Nomba Wachanda. Solution ufire mule pera government. Don't complain always. You must give it good solution ya kweba ati mwabondera chapa. Because mairona ina imwe mukesa ateka. Nomba, is it good na ife twaisa alanda tawe na imwe na musirwa na imwe na mutashani. Nomba muntu ngasirwa. Kumwewe vya kuchita. Mwamona, imuntu ngana kwate chironda. Na mwishiba to chironde chimu. Chifiro kutitwa sona. So mwamupera idea. Chaya chitashani. Chapora. Mwamona. Noti mune chironda mune sekashi ati awirwakwe nomba mailo na imwe mwakwate chironda iro tamukwete nanikana program nomba kutiva chitashani so Wachanda drought tearero iyo ngamune bukisha muni dereti mwana wasa twali monapo mwamona ka muni dereti mwana wasa emwe yali then twaisa isana muri barungu 2019 emwe yali mwamona ka twaliye na kukalipa ine nalire kukalipa bali nsendere ba Henry Kapatanchi bale bomba kuzesiko na ba millennium radio twalire kukalipa mona then puti ya side drought iresa after 5 years or 3 years iresa because ina imanga mwateka ikesa muchitikira po so tie solution ya kwebati tukwishe drought inangu ya isa tukalira malaiti nangu ya isa tukalira no yota tulimine watepa tetu muntu yeshibe lela to hindi mama taba 100 panganda na mayiro kuti washita mufundo wingi kanshi mfata irokere bwino ebintu byayingira nomba kuti walira shani kuti walirira ne bana ngwalirira muntu wagwe batu nomba pa from 100 kwate kwa mataba 200 30 nileza so president bali piro mufundo bali pira abantu bali limine nombe mfura pye yarengere so for conclusion Wachanda eto tulefwa ni proper solution amona mama ini ayuka mule ta political serious into fyali Simbichina kwatana 23 years. Simbichina kwatana 14 years. But ena is a jonse mule landa tiyota fili bwino. Free education. Ine kurunga na shire ripira. Mwabo na lile kukulipira. Nshitapse nsapato. Atike free education. Puja free education ya msangushani. Imunti ya kweba tukiwa nshitapse nsapato. Wila ripire kado sangu kari konse. Nonga te free. Wachanda. Please. Subotimo. Tuatashako. Mwana wa mnenu ngatitako bwino. Mngamutashako. My friend, Mr. Zach, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to hear from you after a long time, brother. There you go. And thank you very much for calling. And let's talk. Let's get some more. Good morning, and please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm calling from Chengora. My name Vash Nelson from Chengora.
Vash Nelson.
Yeah.
Bashnelson mulife bwino.
Yeah, nshobora kugendera ndaba South Chanda.
Emkwai.
For
Bashnelson kafoni kachitakwati ka network kalufya network kafoni.
Hello?
Kalerufya network kafoni.
But you're getting me here.
Yes, we are.
Emkwai nomba ntirisi twamyumva.
Oh?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, ndefana nenda ndipo kufira ndeba South Chanda. Ndiye munaba ba opposition ba inonsta. Chiri kwati kula staff oppose. And defina understand politics. Opposition kula fair checks and balance, yes. But now I my idea kubekala charo. Was a man of work, but a fair man of where, but a shape. In a partner, never told, therefore, a very problem we switch the case, and the government in Tabombe, first of which because that, but soon, a man of a period after, but Sashu woman, the very first of whom Babamus was happy. Number one, Takula complainer, the Charo is Caparico Chingaya. So, Charles Chanda, charm and later my idea, like Machanda Padi drought, Yatika, Mubos one with droughty, and Mutanza with drought, South Africa with droughty. Ku Botswana inonsta ndiye mwana na matirefwa ufuafya menshi itiraka and Botswana abantu bayebonsha kwa gas stove because na solar so na emu mfile mahita kwa government ingabombera but ingakula component yo free education kan shishi abatani efira paras muzo kanga ta party ntakwata ma followers. That's why that one man part na totera.
Mukwai, you want to respond now?
Yes, I want to respond because the two callers are almost saying the same things.
Yes.
Now, I want to just thank him to say that it's a one-man party, which still managed to beat the whole government. So it's a great privilege that one man can beat the whole government in Kanchiria. But now, the issue is this: they are saying that if you've got ideas, you must give them to the government. The problem with the UPND government, it's a Professor Know-it-all government. I wrote a letter to the Minister of Finance. I wanted to see him. And I wanted to share with him how one problem could be solved. And the response I got from the Minister of Finance that the Minister of Finance can never see me. And I said, well, it's fine. Because if you have a stomach problem, you are the one who needs the bathroom. The one who has got no stomach problem doesn't need it. It is the UPND government that has got problems. So if you want to say, we don't give them ideas, no, your leaders have got a problem. Your leaders think they know everything. This is why we leave them. So I can't come on radio. No, when you no, I'm not going to do that. They need to understand that there's something wrong. You need to acknowledge when there's something wrong, accept there's something wrong. And you need to listen to the opposition. If you go back to the days of President Levi Mwanawasa, may he so rest in peace, and President Michael Chilufya-Sata, do you know that why President Levi Mwanawasa was successful was because of the opposition coming from President Michael Chilufya-Sata by then? He was getting his ideas and implementing them. But these ones that we have, they know everything. They can only get from white people. This is why you will find white people near State House more than black people.
Well, we'll take some more calls. Our guest this morning is Mr. Charles Chanda, United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia President. And let me see if I can give you this one. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah. This is Mr. Chilonda.
You're too low.
That you are talking to Mr. Chilonda.
Great. Mr. Chilonda, good to have you. Welcome. And please go ahead.
Is it Jonas Chanda?
No, this is Charles Chanda.
Charles, yeah. Yes, Charles, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you, sir?
You are speaking very well, but you are missing a point a little bit. Because that's what we want. We want an opposition to come with a solution, check and balances. What you are saying good, speak it. What you are saying bad, speak it. So that even the government of the day will see, I think you are going wrong. Why this guy is complaining? So that's a check and balances. Not to say everything is bad or everything big is good. So we are saying that check and balances is about to see what the government goes wrong, what the government do good. You are talking about Mopani, what the government done well. The mining was dormant. There was no employment. People are laughing in copper belt. And now government brought the investor to come and invest in the mining, creating a job. 6,000 workers are working. Yes, 2 days ago we saw that increment of salaries. Can you say thank you? I will not say. What's your any obligation? The last issue is that yes, something you are working on the economy. Government should also working on economy to see the Zambian people buying a cheaper thing. That's why they vote change. What Zambian want is to buy cheaper things to make life easier for the Zambian people. And that is only an issue, a solution, why they vote. All over the world, in America they vote, where there is a good economy. So what we want is that we see the government working on the economy so that everybody eats 3 times a day. I thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. I've got a message here. It says, hi, Moderator Zach and President Chanda. My take on the sold maize. Do you agree that what the Minister and Madam Vice President statements said that they sold maize to pay the farmers who actually supplied maize to FRA? If so, how much money did they raise and how much money did they pay the farmers? If you know anything concerning this matter. This is Jackson Mutambo from Chilanga. I also have a message here from Mr. Muleka Evans. Now, Mr. Muleka Evans says, Mr. Chanda is right. UPND can't win in 2026. It failed to fulfill its promises. It's as good as a loudspeaker and on camera. On cameras, na kapaturu kami wombele. This is Evans Muleka, who is in Chungola, Solwezi Road. Right, and of course, I'll give you some more calls. Let me give you this one. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Kabulonga. This is Francis.
Francis, please go ahead.
Yeah. Murishani wa President Chanda.
Mkwainga walishana afyash.
Muna mkwai. Imecho ndefoyo kulanda ndeto tera sana pali fiancés. Pantu abantu barera ndoko bati imwe tamuletasha esho government ile chita. Abatara chashapo na ngumu kumukula ndoko bati urumu nabo wabombere mumona ama meeting fiancé ama ego meeting bare bomchaye. Eko barera ndoko bati ubunga buchipashani yeti kalungu washire. Sapaba nangu wande walandira cheti kalungu ari bomba. Bene nchitofe kula mutukana fiancé. Bena barepo kula batasha na pifinti ko sitafire moneka. Namba ubu ate wona mona inde kuma politician wakwebati. First of all, mwalasango kubati umuntu nga uri mu opposition ule kwata abantu bale kupere mpia ya kuchira makampeni kuchitefire fyonse and then nga waisa wina nomba yarama promise wale beba kwati nkesa mipera mamaini mwaba pera and then palasi tukala ndoko bati ama Zambia ntaba kwata capacity aya kula nimeni body mula ndoko bati wale bonke ndalama shabari abantu. So as a result mulesango kwati mwatampo kulera ma asset badabe n'abasungwa baleyisa balemperenta ishama campaign wamana ebo afya ebo tukwete muzambia muno ama maini yonsa natupera ku bantu kushi abana besu abakesa kuntanshi bakabomba shyanyi ibitoko batizande tayikwete capacity ya kulipira enkongole mumone natukwata ama building gaye sana yako bati for example natukwata ama toget ija toget yo tukwete ndia kuti yadira ko shimo ndalama natukwata Kazungura bridge ba president ntibaire ko kulabaika inganda no tulepanga sana ndalama kuli Kazungura alicho ile kuti tulepirako nangu mugodira half amount of money that we are giving kuba sungu ile mpia ya half ile mpia ya kusunga mulepire nkongole ukuchiro ko bati chirenko ngole abana besu nabeshukuru besu wakese mukisambali tisile kile tutikira kuntanshi kwa tana beswamba bashira cyalo n'abari cyalo wakese ba mu problem tetulande ko bati no bare tutabwini bare tutashanya pawe aba bantu n'abafirwa ilo ama solution mwalebe bako bati noto kushitisha mataba abantu kuntanshi tukachula andwe n'abalipitisha mataba yonse yashirama nawo bump harvest nangu kwali kirala at least bali kwata na bump harvest kuno Southern Africa mulando kwati nangu mufundo balepera munshita mujuni mufundo na wita bonke abantu balepka nomba mumone ubuteko bwese mulepera abantu amataba amanani kama fertilizer mumemeda kuti mwakwatesa ni bump harvest futi mwayamkushita yaye na mataba leo mwashitishe bali afite mkushita mutengo okulu ukuchira umutengo pale sharp mwana kuti mwaye bataba kwata mano Chanda na totela sana ba president mumule tulandiro kumupikirisha pantu mukombo ni muri nsala takuli nendarama chonte mpiyanga umuntu akwatendera bayikata umuntu ule kwate west invest mu Zambia bayikata abasungu tabale bakonka ukwe bati abasungu abale invest ndara machine mu mabanki tabale bakonka na mwenye bale konka sama black sea ngani mo businessman bami konka uko tependera ba konka nomba tukalayikala shani mu cyalo mona ama vendors beswambya bantu baleta ngabayikala batoba ulemba yopia na shupa kuchitashanya abantu balenga ugatwa the result dollar irekula na production tatukwete dollar every day irekwela because in PF we are not we are not exporting anything mamon mulando kwa tife muzambe tamuri business we are not even creating tatukwete ama farmers ama state farms mumalulo areas chonte bene tubeshwe tukula kongola tunokulaje nokula pero aba baleta ndokora timpia ya CDF atimpia ya CDF tapale wale chimone mpia ya CDF ababe na makada za wale itapale ndio mu CDF ngamalolesha sana mu kombo ni ngatwa yako atino trefa yake badala kwa tibale panga bench drama mara senda ya CDF ngamba bontu kwa msoko makapenta iyo tapale fere bomba au wako muche kanchibia Mr. Chanda bale babonti aso kwa Chanda kwa example mamu na bachanda mamu na bale babonti kuri ba government tema konfo muntu alungura bajja ku mumbu iyo tema konfo muntu alungura ba mwetwa balungura te uri awinete umo bantu bale mu bonte ma politics ifonse ama games onse bale stare umfika tema konfo bato mama na CDF bale bonte bagali nkombo takuli bale lungura tla ine kamuchibia chapo ila ine buno ko bale mu bonte kuma politics ati bale sontera pofi so bachanda mpitirishe kana besa ifo tulina imwe tule umfa necho ngureranda aba bantu tabakatashe pa wana tonse tibachita igamiring ari bombakali medical lungu infrastructure ari bombakali ama target bale kongolesha umuntu waisa mukupango musebo bale mo 25 years bale mwana ko fichitike pere mpia futale kongola mulangu ine munomine mu Zambia unomine investor wakupanga musebo impia shares fuchile sha bombele ushekona fire panga amano efu eto mungalanda chao tuletasha
Francis
thank you.
Right, there you go. I've got a message here, morning there. I'm happy the way that Chanda he has said, and he is the right one to be the president. May I have Honorable Chanda's, Charles Chanda's number? I'm Joshua Lungu from Chaisa. Let me read this one. Hi, Bazak. Morning, Mr. President. You are speaking very well, sir, especially repaying of debt using emerald in Lufanyama and gold in Kalumbila. Surely that is the way to go. But why is the UPND reluctant to do this way or to go this way? Or are they following IMF orders to punish Zambians systematically? This is Augustine from Chingola. Augustine, thank you very much. I'll let you respond if you'd like to respond.
Yeah, I want to respond to the caller that brought the issue of why maize was sold.
Yes.
That the vice president said they needed to pay
the farmers who supplied to FRA. Yes.
Now, it is always a problem when politicians think that citizens don't think. You are telling us as a country that you sat down as cabinet, you found the CDF at 1.6 million. You jumped to 28 million. And you are telling the country that you didn't have money to pay for the maize. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Even a 2-year-old child would argue that apaba hona pamwalanda out afile panga sense. You cannot increase CDF and you don't have money to pay for the maize. Where are you going to get the money for the CDF? Why didn't you first pay for the maize? Because that money was still going to come back. So that is a lie. And we know this government for lies. They shouldn't cheat the country. So all we are saying is they sold maize because we don't know where that money went. If the government is honest on the sale of maize, we must see a transaction from Rwanda, from Kenya. We must see the money coming into the Zambian account. And I want to challenge Her Honor the Vice President. If you are telling the country the truth that that money was to pay for the farmers, we want to see that money coming from Kenya hitting the account of FRA. We don't know where that money went. We don't know. Maybe it even went on, it had legs from those countries and it found itself in offshore accounts. Who knows? So there's no truth here. There's no evidence. All we need to know is that maize shouldn't have been sold. The other day, the minister was saying they sold the maize because it was too old. So, nimana nitwala umfwakanshi. Mwalistisha mataba ati yo yali ikalisha. Lelo ati twalifa kulipila awa letera mataba. Please accept when there is something that is not right. And for the citizens, what we are saying is that this country has enough money. The cost of living is so high, and government must sit down and work on the cost of living. We want to work with the government, but government must have an open door policy. Do you know that it is easier for a white man who comes into the country to go from airport to State House than a citizen to see his own president? But government must listen. And if the government can listen and look at some of the things we are bringing out, it is for their own good. It is them that get the credit, not us. And we are not just going to be clapping. No, the issue of Mopani, we are happy with the jobs that are created. And I'm also happy that my relatives, my brothers and sisters, my fellow countrymen can find employment. But we are not going to be quiet when the thing is done illegally. There is an illegality in the way the transaction was done. There is no transparency there. We don't know about these investors. We don't know who are the real investors. That one we must voice out. Because when the next government comes in, they're going to investigate that. That's why we are saying, yes, the jobs are fine. But the issue is, why is a Ndereshan contract? Was it advertised? The money they are talking about pumping there is less than 1 ton of emerald. Why didn't they take the equivalent of 1 ton of emerald from Kajam, where we've got 25%, and the government should have pumped the money into Mopane, and we were going to run Mopane from the money from our 25% dividends. Why? Who is eating the money that Kajam is giving the country? Last year, they had 35 million carats, which is 7 tons. How much is 25% of 7 tons? It's almost 1.8 tons of emerald. That 1.8 tons should have given us close to $4 billion kwacha, $4 billion. We could have paid the euro bond of 750 from the 25% just from 1 year. There is someone that is eating our money in Kajam. And that's why we as citizens, we have the right. And I can assure the country that should I become president, I have enough ammunition to grab Kajam, because 25%, I know the value of the emeralds. So if they have been stealing the 25%, our dividend, we have the right to close them down and claim back, because that is what's happening. If there are politicians who are sharing with them, nabela tukisaba konka, no kubakaka nabena.
Mr. Chanda, we're coming to a close of this particular program. I would give you a minute to make your concluding remarks.
What I want to assure the citizens is that all hope is not lost. And I want to appeal to the government. Mr. President, you have a mandate to rule this country. You have been given a mandate that we respect as citizens. Our prayer for you is that you use your mandate to ease the lives of the citizens. Things are expensive. Mini meal is expensive. There is need for you to consider a subsidy on mini meal because a lot of people cannot even afford one meal as families. If we had money for CDF, I believe we can have money to subsidize mini meal so that our Zambians can be able to access the staple food. We don't want to pull down government. We want to encourage you. And we are saying that mandate God gave you, uses it, and God will be able to help you. And for the citizens, let's hold our breath. Let's pray that the Lord will help us in such times. We need to be united as a country and fight the common enemy, which is the cost of living. God bless everyone.
And certain callers asked for your
Well, those of you
contact,
that would want to get in touch with me, I'll give you my WhatsApp number. It's 0762 16 63 24. 0762 16 63 24. Send me a WhatsApp. Definitely, you'll get a response.
Mr. Chanda, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Banda, and thank you to all our listeners. It's been a great, and I pray that God's blessings will be upon to all the other radio stations. Thank you for joining us.
Indeed.
God bless everyone.
Thank you very much. And that's what we had for you today on the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue. Be assured that we will definitely be back, God willing, next week with the Tuesday and Thursday editions of The Burning Issue. Thank you to our partner radio stations as well for carrying this program live. And we'll chat again next week. So from us all, is take care of yourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week for another edition of The Burning Issue, and thank you for your participation.